Well, I'm joined by a man who knows all about balancing Britain's books, former Chancellor of the Exchequer, Lord Nigel Lawson. Lord Lawson, thanks so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
If I may ask you, first of all, about Angela Merkel's surprise move to ban some naked short selling. Are you surprised by it, and what effect do you think it's going to have?
Yes, I am surprised, and it's certainly something which can only last a very short time, because people will find ways of getting around it, move to other jurisdictions and so on. So it can only be workable for a very, very short time. The last government in Britain did it for a short time. It's largely a political move, and I don't think it's of any great significance.
Interesting. Now, the last time, you've been talking a little bit to us before about the prospect of a hung parliament, and you, like many other people, felt that a hung parliament might not give the kind of strong, decisive government we need. We've seen quite unprecedented events of that sort of strong coalition being formed. How confident are you that the coalition will be able to get down to cutting the deficit?
I'm certainly hopeful. Given the inconclusive general election result, the only strong government that could be formed was an alliance and coalition of the Conservative Party, which are far and away the biggest party, but don't have an overall majority, and the Liberal Democrats. And the fact that they both agree that getting the deficit down drastically, and largely by public expenditure cuts, is the #1 priority. Given they've agreed, which the Liberal Democrats hadn't before, to start in this year, 2010.
Yes.
OK, it's only £6 billion of cuts in 2010, but it's a start straight away. That is good news. If it is then followed up, there's going to be a budget on June the 22nd, a proper emergency budget, where I would hope to see substantially greater reduction in the budget deficit planned for 2011 and succeeding years, and with a big cut I would hope to see in 2011. We shall have to wait and see, but that's what I hope will happen.
Now, we've got this, George Osborne has already made some quite striking plans. One of them is this kind of the Office of Budget Responsibility, this idea that somebody else is going to do the books effectively, not the Chancellor. He described that as creating a rod for his own back and for Chancellors in the future. What do you think of the idea?
It was certainly not necessary in my day. When we were we inherited a large budget deficit when we came in 1979,
yes.
And it was not as big as this one.
No, I know.
It was very, very big.
Large at the time.
It was very big at the time and rising, and we cut it, and I ended up, during the latter part of my time as Chancellor, having a budget surplus.
Yes, nobody knows what that is anymore.
No, but it can be done.
Yeah.
I think the problem now is that, alas, as a result of what has happened over recent years, Treasury forecasts have lacked market credibility. And the idea is that if you have this institution, you will try and win back some market credibility, because the basis of what the Chancellor, or George Osborne, does will be what the Office of Budget Responsibility says. And this is an attempt to get back market credibility, and market credibility is always important. It's the measures which are most important, but it is much harder to succeed as a finance minister if you lack market credibility.
Now, the other thing that he's going to have to do, obviously, is raise taxes somehow, as well as cutting public spending. Can you see VAT being raised? That's something that the Thatcher government had to do. Is it something that you think that this coalition government will have to do as well?
I think it is very likely that they will find they can't do it all quickly enough on public expenditure. Therefore, there has to be some rise in taxation, and that will almost certainly be VAT. You're absolutely right. I hope at the same time they will make it absolutely clear that their long-term objective, this is a crisis, this is an emergency, but their long-term objective is to get tax rates down. And there's no reason why they shouldn't say that now, whether people believe it or not.
That may well be a key difference, though, between the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives. The idea that we're going to have to see short-term increases in capital gains tax, for example, for second homes, VAT. Those are aspirations, perhaps, that the Tories would have to cut tax that the Liberal Democrats might not share.
Well, we shall see. Obviously, they will discuss it among the coalition partners. On the capital gains tax point, incidentally, when I was Chancellor, did align the rates of capital gains tax and income tax. And it was Gordon Brown who then paradoxically reduced capital gains tax hugely. And the reason why that was a stupid thing to do, and the reason why it's sensible to go back to the sort of thing that I did when I was Chancellor, is that it is too easy to convert income, with clever accountancy advice, to convert income into capital gains. So you lose an important part of your income tax yield. It's not the capital gains tax yield that is important, it's the loss of income tax yield by the dressing up of income as capital gain, which is a very easy thing to do, and it happens on a large scale. Therefore, if you have a very difficult fiscal position as a result of the gross mismanagement of the country's public finances by Gordon Brown, then you cannot afford this loss of income tax yield.
Lord Lawson, thank you very much indeed for coming in and sharing your views with us this morning.
Thank you.